Oh, hey there. I'm student producer Torian Smith, and you are now watching MATC Now.
School year is almost over. Time for students to prepare for the future. We'll dive into a student's passion for software development, plus we'll toggle over to the IT department for a look behind the screens. All this and more on this episode of MATC Now. Good afternoon and welcome to this week's episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, James Charles. Thanks for joining us. Today I'm accompanied in studio by my co-host, Abdulrafi Munairuddin, who is a computer support specialist here at MATC. Abdulrafi, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Right. Now, when people ring your line and they're overwhelming you with their computer problems, how do you decide where to start first and what to fix first?
Well, usually turning off and on the computer fixes 99% of the problem.
Right.
But we have the 1%, primarily with accounts, at least here at MATC, like can I access to the account, my password expired, et cetera, et cetera. So what we do first is ask them, what's the problem? And then go on from there.
So it sounds like so many things people could fix on their own just by making a simple phone call and following instructions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Abdulrafi, thanks for coming on and explaining that. And now I know exactly who to call when my neighbors call with their computer problems. All right. Well, now, you know, when Control-Alt-Delete doesn't work, I think there is extra help available. Let's check in with the IT department with our field correspondent, Shannon O'Dwyer. Shannon.
Hi, James. I'm here at the downtown campus where we're going to walk through the IT department and take a look behind the technological curtain. See you in a bit.
Thanks, Shannon. We'll check in later to learn more. MATC produces many excellent alumni. Student producers Spencer Knoll and Christian Luna Gallardo met with Mario Hurt, a freelance sports videographer. But before that, student passion reporter Lasierra Flowers and student producers Khalil Gant and Minxie Perez bring us a full-color view of 2D animation.
Passion for drawing, I joined through Jada Jordan, a student at MATC who
currently majoring in 2D animation. What exactly is 2D animation?
2D animation is two-dimensional characters come to life from either paper or just on the screen, basically making it to a stream of animations to show people.
What made you want to pursue 2D animation?
I wanted to show people like what my memories all collide together can show. Since I was a kid, I just like watching animated stuff, so I'm going to show it to people from my mind.
What do you like best about 2D drawing?
Oddly enough, I do like the frame-by-frame kind of thing because you can see what's going to happen next. I mean, it can happen in 3D, but I like it better in 2D.
For any upcoming students who's wanting to pursue animation, do you have any advice for them?
My advice to future students in MATC for animation is to be creative and just take breaks in between your projects so you don't get overwhelmed.
creation is a passion, and your love for it is your strength, so carry it with you and create things you never thought you could imagine. It can drive and make you who you are. I'm Lasierra Flowers, and this is your Student Passion Report.
MATC has many notable alumni. One of these alumni is Mario Hurt. Mario graduated from MATC in 2008 from the Television and Video Production program. Over the years, he has worked many jobs as a freelance videographer around the Milwaukee area, including working with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yes, I've been working in this field now ever since I graduated in 2008, and I've been doing this for 17 years, I believe now. And what I am now is basically, to sum it all up, I am a freelance videographer and camera operator. I work for multiple companies, including FanDuel Sports, formerly Fox Sports, and then after that, formerly Valley Sports, and now we're FanDuel Sports. I also work for the Milwaukee Bucks. I also work for a company called Mindpool, and this is all freelance work, but I get a lot of work through these companies. I also do freelance work for Plum Media as well. I also have my own LLC that I get some work through as well. I am the ENG camera operator for Brewers home games, where I go with our sideline reporter, so Phil Minyard, and we interview players and coaches before the game. And also during the game, I get shots. I might go out and get scenic shots for the broadcast to come back from break with. And after the game is over with, we go in the clubhouse and we get player interviews. And for a Bucks season, I'm a camera operator for the game for in-house. But I also work for, like I said, FanDuel, which is a broadcast partner for the Milwaukee Bucks. So if I'm not working for the Bucks that night, I'm still working for FanDuel. So, we do stuff for the broadcast.
The work has changed over the years for Mario, especially in contrast to when he was still in school here at MATC. The process for recording and editing can be different depending on what job or company he works with.
Phil and Rick, Mario, they're all waiting.
I do my own editing when I feel like editing, I don't feel like editing a lot. I mean, I do it in my personal time, but I use DaVinci Resolve. I use, when I'm at FanDuel, I use Avid. Now, we're on Avid right here. So I can use Avid and I can use DaVinci Resolve.
You'd never catch those animators drawing a blank.
You sure wouldn't. And I do not know about you, but I don't want to draw any conclusions here, but that kind of sounds sketchy to me, isn't it? The animation skills here at that the students learn here at MATC prepare them for the professional world.
When it comes to computer problems, I give up after turning off the machine and turning it on again. Field correspondent Shannon O'Dwyer is at our downtown campus with the pros who keep all systems running here. Shannon.
Of Help Desk Services. How are you doing today, Mike?
Hi, Shannon. Thanks. Good. Very good.
Good. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And could you tell us a little bit about the room we're in?
Sure. This is one of our network rooms we use for storage and setting up equipment. As you can see, we have a lot of network cabling here. We have cabinets full of switches and firewalls. We do a lot of configuring here. Like on these tables back here, this is where we would stage a switch or a firewall, program it, make sure it's ready for deployment out in the field. But yeah, this is mostly a storage room / prep room, stuff like that.
Cool. Now, aside from the people that work in here, how many branches of IT do we have?
We have 6. So we have the help desk, as you mentioned, our AV department, our desktop services department, which is like our deployment installation team. We have a security team. We have an information systems team. And we also have the network team that we're currently in. So
now you work for the help desk services.
Correct.
These are the people that we're going to be interacting with day to day.
Right.
What kind of services do you offer to students and faculty?
So we offer phone support, we offer email support, chat support, help desk at matc.edu. Any student can reach us Monday through Friday. 7:30 to 7 p.m. and then Saturdays we're here too. But we get a lot of account questions. We help any student with any problem, whether it's IT or not.
Yeah, so just kind of the basic stuff.
Yes.
All right, obviously, as you can tell, it's much louder in this room and also cold. Why is that?
So we have a lot of servers in this room, and they generate a lot of heat. So we have to have a lot of air conditioning units to blow a lot of cool air so our equipment doesn't overheat. So this is a server rack. So in here we have mini servers. These happen to be our DVR servers that house a lot of storage for our cameras and stuff like that. So, you know, you get 6 to 10 servers to a rack. We add up very quick. It's producing a lot of heat. So a lot of air conditioning is needed to help, you know, make sure the equipment's safe.
I would think.
Yeah.
Now, I see that we have some wiring above us. Where are all these cables going?
So all of these cables that come back here go to our switches. And here are some of our switches.
All right, for those of us who aren't familiar, what is the switch?
So we have jacks around the campus that a yellow cable, which goes to our computers, our laptops, our printers, and they all come back here. So these switches allow network connection, internet connection, allowable access for our MATC network.
So this is for the whole downtown campus?
This is for our whole downtown campus.
Wow.
There's a lot of switches in here, a lot of connections.
Switches.
Yes.
And I see that we have something on this back wall that looks pretty interesting.
Yes.
These look older, though.
Yes.
What are they?
You're looking at the history of our telephone system here at MATC. Back in the analog days, every phone had to be punched down by a cable, like a wire like this. So they would go around and say, well, I'm at jack 5900 and M300. They'd have to take this, punch it down into here, and run this line over to M300. So it was all...
That sounds very manual.
It was very manual.
Well, thank God for modern technology.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. I learned a lot. I hope you did too.
Absolutely.
And back to you in the studio, James.
Thank you, Shannon, and thank you to all the people working in our IT department. You're a great help to us all. Now, if you're looking for something different, well, MATC's Chemical Technician program may be for you. Student producers Andre Gonzalez and Maddie O'Connell give us a look into what the program has to offer. But first, student producers Anthony Momoa and Ani Falcon have a PSA about taking a break from your screens.
Here at MATC, we see students every day focused and working hard. From attending virtual classes to writing essays, checking emails, scrolling through social media, texting, and watching videos, students spend hours and hours staring at screens. And while technology has made learning more accessible and connection easier than ever, it comes with a price. Too much screen time can cause eye strain, headaches, fatigue, and even sleep problems. But it goes deeper than that.
Spending too much time on screens, especially without breaks, can lead to increased stress, anxiety, depression, and burnout is not fun.
Let's face it, our minds were built to run non-stop on digital input. That's why it's important to take regular breaks to turn off screens and take at least 5 minutes to breathe.
Turn that screen off and take at least 5 minutes or 2 to breathe. Go out for a walk, talk to a friend, or just stretch. Your body and mind will thank you. This message is brought to you by students like you, where your well-being matters as much as your education. For this MATC Now segment, we'd like for you to join us in clearing your mind and taking a minute to breathe. Enjoy the calming sounds of waves and relax your mind.
Well, in the chemical technician program, there's two directions you can go with it. You can either go on the lab-based side or on the processing-based side. I always tell students you're going to make more money on the chemical processing side than you are on the lab-based side. Although on the lab-based side is more traditional, you're wearing the lab coat, you're working in the laboratory itself, doing benchtop chemistry. Where the chemical processing, you're more in the industrial side, you know, you're wearing steel-toed boots. Well, you're still wearing a lab coat, but what I'll argue about that side of it, you're making more money. And also, pretty much once you've got the reaction set up, you're just pretty much monitoring the reaction. You're monitoring the flow chart of that reaction. You're just watching pressures and temperatures. Some of those reactions can be 10, 15 hours. So if it's on your shift that you're just running the reaction, you're pretty much, you know, drinking coffee all day and making 30 bucks an hour.
Help with information. Pretty much all the research that we do here in school is done through the computers, through the library system. A lot of the best ways to learn, especially when it comes to physics and anything mathematical, is using specialized AI out there for specifically homework, and it can help teach you it without doing it for you. I would say those are the best ways that I've used technologies.
Use a lot of different equipment here. A lot of it's to determine what type of chemical properties we're dealing with, what type of chemicals we have in a certain substance, and figure out how to replicate it and just mess around with the chemical compounds.
Digital processing now is huge in the environment. Everything now is run through the computers. Everything's run, for example, chemical processing. Once they get the chemical reaction going, you're monitoring that all by computer, all by flow charts. Everything is digitized on the computer. Everything is all digitized when you're running a chemical processing. You know, people are used to, you know, you put some chemicals in the beaker on the bench top, but when you want to actually scale that up to, say, pilot plant operation or manufacturing, everything is digitally controlled. You have to monitor those systems, importantly to monitor pressures, temperatures, and you just want to avoid runaway reactions, so to speak. You hear about industrial accidents all the time, and a lot of that comes from not only outside companies coming in to do maintenance, but also from processors not paying attention to what they're doing.
We rely on it a lot, almost entirely. Without some of the technology, we would not be able to do a lot of the stuff we do here. I would not be able to get any information or data regarding any samples I put into some of the machines, and it'd make my job a lot more difficult without some of this technology.
And a lot of it is, you know, people think of chemistry, you know, I get it all the time, well, can we blow things up, you know, that visual effect. A lot of the chemistry and a lot of what you do in chem tech, food tech, even biotech, is you're measuring the stuff you can't see. The way I always teach it is you take a glass of water, you don't want to look at that glass of water as that clear liquid. You want to see the H2O molecules in there. You want to see how those H2O molecules are orientated. Put some salt in there. You want to see how the sodium and the chloride interact with those H2O molecules. And so it's not that you're visually seeing it on a macro level, you need to visualize that on that micromolecular level. And sometimes that's very hard for students to make that connection. You have to definitely be motivated, self-motivated. It's definitely math-based. We always say chemistry is math, math is chemistry. And so, you know, it's not an easy field. I'll argue this is one of the hardest programs at MATC. However, the rewards are great. Like I said, the job placement is 100%. But again, you have to be very self-motivated. You have to want to do it. You have to be very interested in this type of work. The two different routes you can go in a job are very high paying, very well paying for a 2-year degree. Even a 1-year diploma, you can be making $25 to $30 an hour.
That's a great reminder for all of us to take a break once in a while. And Scott makes chemical processing look easy. Well, we're joined here today by MATC's IT networking instructor, Brian Kirsch. Brian, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Now, in the 15 years that you've been an instructor, how has computer technology changed when students come to you? They already sort of have this background. Everybody has a computer of some sort. Now they're coming to you and saying, all right, now teach me more.
There's a good and bad with that. Everyone that has the experience has gone from the old desktops to mobile, laptop, but the fields have changed. It used to be the big data centers and all that. Now it's the cloud. It's virtualization, it's AI, it's all the buzzwords, but these are real. And we have to teach them that. And there's quite a few challenges with that.
Right.
But it continues to advance and grow. and we're changing material every year just to keep up.
Right, okay.
What are some of the challenges that you face?
Right now, the AI is probably some of the most challenging, and some of that's because there's a subscription, so there's a cost. Fortunately, the school's really good about gaining access for that, but it's getting students how to use AI, use it properly, ethically, but how they can advance their job set, their skills, whether it be from programming to network design. AI's another tool, like the internet was, 20, 25 years ago.
Right.
So.
Are some people overly relying on AI maybe for their studies, or like, as you mentioned, use of non-ethical issues?
I think a lot of it, everything finds a balance, shall we say. Whereas years ago, the internet could be used for cheating in that. Now it's really a tool. People looked at AI to write essays and all that, which is not ethical, but now they're using it as a tool. So it's like any technology, it has to mature through it, and it will. It will find a balance, but this one came about so quickly, everyone's been challenged a little bit with it. So we're all adjusting.
Right.
And that's going to go for all the programs here at MATC.
All right, and I think most of our viewers would be thankful to know that we are not AI, we are actually here.
This is true.
All right, Brian, I appreciate you coming on the program and explaining that for all of us, and giving us something to look forward to as we get on the road here.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely. Well, with being here at MATC, many students are worried about their grades. But one person who never has that worry is Chef Aiyana, whose cooking is always A+ in taste. Chef, what do you have over there for us today?
Hey, thank you for joining us for today's recipe. I will be preparing a ham and turkey club sandwich on a baguette bun. A ham and turkey sandwich is easy to make. It's filled with great protein and vegetables. For our ingredients, I gathered a French baguette, honey ham, oven-roasted turkey breast, provolone cheese, iceberg lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, mustard, pickles, and chips. There's nothing like a nice sandwich, especially if you have a busy life. You can pack it for work and school, plus it's fulfilling for all your taste buds. And the best thing about a sandwich is you can make it with whatever you want. I've got some pre-cut baguette over here. We're going to spread that open, and I'm going to start with the foundation in the science of sandwiches, the glue. We're going to start with some mustard. You could use brown mustard, spicy mustard, honey mustard. I will be using yellow mustard. Just give this a nice squeeze and drizzle across. And then we're going to go ahead and add our mayonnaise. You could use Miracle Whip or butter. I've even heard of cream cheese in some places, though I'm not sure how good that would be. And now that we've got our glue spread across, we're going to add our moisture barrier, which is our cheese. You could use any kind of cheese you'd like. Today we're using provolone cheese, but you could use Munster cheese, Colby Jack cheese, or mozzarella, cheddar, white cheddar. This is your sandwich. Make it how you like. Now that we have our moisture barrier down, we're going to go in with our wettest ingredients, the lettuce and the tomato. We've got iceberg lettuce today, but you could use anything like arugula, spring mix, romaine lettuce. My personal favorite is butter lettuce. It's delicious. You keep it on the root and it keeps fresh for weeks. Now that we've got our iceberg lettuce on, we can go ahead and add on the wettest of our ingredients, the tomato. We've got some Roma tomatoes here, and I have about half of a tomato going because this is a pretty small sandwich, and the 5% of fibers outside of the 95% of water that is a tomato, it does pull it out with every bite. So we're just going to go ahead and put these halves in there so that way it's easier to bite through clean. Now that we've got the wettest stuff in, we're going to go ahead and add our meat. We've got oven roasted turkey breast and honey ham. But you could use mesquite smoked turkey or honey roasted turkey. And as for the ham, you could switch it out for Black Forest ham or any other kind of ham you like. Now that we've got our meat in there, we're going to go ahead and add our final ingredient, which is our spear pickle. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half so we can lay it on there perfectly. You could use any kind of pickle you like. We have classic spears here, but you could use the sandwich slices, you could use the snackums, you could use the stackers, whatever kind of pickle you like. Dill, kosher, sweet and sour, whatever. We're going to give this a nice cut, and there you have it. A classic club sandwich that pairs so well with pickles, and chips. Isn't that delicious? Now, if you don't like it this way, you can always add other ingredients such as pepperoncinis, bell peppers, cucumbers. If you'd like to make it a California club, you could add on some bacon and avocado or guacamole if you want to add a little south of the border spice to it. If you don't like mayo or mustard, you could add vinaigrette, oil, or really any kind of sauce that you like on there. But I'm still a little hesitant about the cream cheese. At the end of the day, this is your sandwich. However you'd like to build it, that's up to you. I like the classic club that we have here, so that's what we've got for you. Thank you for tuning into today's cooking. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Aiyana, for that delicious-looking sandwich. Now, let's see what James have for us in this week's MATC's Minute.
Summer and fall class registration is open now. Snag your spot before they're all booked up and making your new schedule turns into a game of Tetris. Celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month by joining the Be Seen in Green event Wednesday, May 14th from noon to 2 p.m. in the downtown campus S building. Wear green to show your support, raise awareness, and help reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. Saturday, May 17th is spring commencement. Come to the UWM Panther Arena at noon and celebrate the graduates from our associate degree, technical diploma, apprenticeship, and adult high school programs. Congrats, everyone. From walking across the stage to taking over the MPBS airwaves, also on May 17 is Student Operations Day. Expect episodes to begin airing at 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Then from 3 to 5, watch our live segment where we'll have games, interviews, and more. Watch our students take over on Milwaukee PBS Channel 36.1. For more information on these events, go to matc.edu/events.
Thanks for that, James. Now let's switch it up a bit. From digital to physical, student producer Sanus Kilbrew is at the Marne Arts and Cultural Hub for this week's Hidden Gem Key.
I'm student producer Shanice Kilbrew, and today we're at another Gem KE. Marne Art and Culture Hub is located on Milwaukee Historic 3rd Ward, offering gallery space, a marketplace, and even beverages. Come on, let's go take a look.
Milwaukee Artist Resource Network is open to the public, supporting a diverse community, fostering education and networking for artists to enhance the culture of Milwaukee. Marne aims to empower artists to thrive creatively and economically.
Here, you can get inspired for your next project or even your next paper.
Marne provides a full-service bar and snacks.
I enjoy the gallery here. It's filled with all local artists. And did I mention, it's free.
Marne was established in 2000 by local artists addressing the need for a supportive infrastructure to connect artists professionally. Marne Art and Culture Hub is now home for educational programs, community events, and exhibits. Marne's core mission is to support artists in Milwaukee to continue to expand its services and programs.
Thank you so much for joining us today and exploring how art is evolving with our future. I'm student producer Shanice Kilbrew, and today we have explored another Hidden Gem KE.
Thanks, Shanice. Well, now that I have a break coming up, I think we're going to spend a little time over there, and I think that we could all agree to that. Now, as we wrap up here, quick question for both of you. For students who are trying to survive, their time here at MATC in any field, what was the best advice you could give them? Abdul Rafi.
Communication. Communication is key to anything you do when talking to your coworkers, talking to your boss, or talking to different clients. Having clear, precise communication is essential for any type of field.
All right, good advice. Brian?
Take a moment to detach. Turn off the phone, turn off the screens. We talked about it, we saw it. All professionals need that little bit of time to take a step away, recharge, get back in.
Good advice. Abdul Rafi, Brian, thanks for being here. Thanks for all of your advice. And thanks to all of you for tuning in to another episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, James Charles. Have a happy and safe summer, and hope you'll join us again next season.